Springboards is we're a creative tool to inspire, not give you the answers. So we have a very similar ethos to Flora, but really we are by strategists for the strategist and creative community. And we really believe that AI should be used for ideation and inspiration, and not here to just do all the work for you. And so I'll walk you through kind of how that all comes together. But I understand we're at like the afternoon lull a little bit here maybe, so this is going to be very audience participation. I'm going to call on all of you guys to interact, please. And the first thing that I actually want to do is I want you all to open up your phones, or if you have your laptops, I'm not judging, open up your favorite LLM and go to ChatGPT, Gemini, whatever it is that you guys like to use. And we're going to try to do some magic here. See if I can pull out my inner David Blaine for you all. But when you open up your favorite LLM, I want you to ask it, give me a random number from 0 to 10. And I'll give you guys a moment. If I could sing, I'd do the Jeopardy tune, but I can't hold the tune. So I'll give you guys all a moment to say, give me a random number 0 to 10. Let's see if this works. How many of you guys got the number 7? Look around. Okay, now I'm going to ask it again. Now I want you guys to go back to your tool and say, give me another number. Okay, see, everyone's starting to look up. How many of you guys got the number 3 or the number 4? Yeah. So we'll try it one more time because Noah gave me an extra minute, so I'm going to push my luck here. So try it one more time. Say, give me one more number. And I want to see how many of you guys get the number 9. Did other people get the number 8, maybe? Yeah. So we talked about this at the beginning, that these LLMs, Noah touched on it, they are all built on patterns, and they are all built on giving you the most probable answer. And the problem is that marketers are often leaning on these tools to help them come up with their initial strategy, unlock some insights, unlock some new creative thinking. And the challenge is that if you're asking it to come up with a new campaign idea for Converse, and your competitor, and maybe a competitive agency is also trying to win Converse's business, you guys might be getting the same idea. And that's, even if you prompt it ever so slightly differently, you can still be getting the same ideas. So Springboards is built for variation. We are built to make sure that you are getting different thinking than anyone else. And so we are trying to give you mass ideas. So we did research last year where we have 10 to 30x the variation of OpenAI, Gemini, and Anthropic combined, because we want to bring you places you wouldn't necessarily get on your own. And that's the whole point of Springboards, is it's all about bringing you places and keeping the human at the heart of all of this, right? It's not, we can't have these tools doing our jobs for us. We've been talking about that all day. It really is about keeping us. We're the ones who have taste. We're the ones who have discernment. We're the ones who have emotional intelligence. So let us be the ones who take a lot of ideas and then decide if it's good or not. So let's actually jump into it. Let us jump in and actually see how this comes to life rather than just talking about it, because as Noah said, we're all about doing here and viewing. So we live right now in a very fragmented world, and there's a lot of things that people see different eye to eye on. And as a company that is based in Australia with offices in London, offices in New York, one of the things that our company is very fragmented about are Heinz baked beans. And I know that there's a very international audience here, and some of you guys may love Heinz baked beans, and you might love beans and toast. And some of you, like myself, do not. So we are gonna have some fun with Heinz baked beans today as our brand. So all I do is I come into Springboards, and I have just typed in Heinz baked beans as my brand here. That's all I have. And here I'm going to spark a brand strategy. So this is just to get up to speed. I'm gonna just kind of get up to speed on who Heinz baked beans are, what do they stand for, kind of what's going on with them. So here we have a little bit of their mission, we've got their tone of voice, we got a little bit of their brand history. Who maybe are some brand mates of Heinz baked beans, their tensions, their positioning. And if you can't see it at the bottom, but we've got brand advantage as well. Now, if I wanted to get specific about, I had their Heinz baked bean brand guidelines or their brand book, right? I could upload that in here. Right now, we're kind of just pulling from kind of an observation of who the world sees as Heinz baked beans. But I could come in here, I could upload all of this information. What we're going to do today is we are going to target Americans, because how many Americans in this audience don't really think beans and toast is a proper meal? Is anyone? Yeah, there's a number of us. It's not just me. Okay, so we are going to target Americans in here. If I can just type Americans. Now we're going to re-spark, but really where we're going to spend our time is let's unlock some insights about this audience. Let's unlock how can we start talking to Americans about Heinz baked beans and selling in this delicious meal. So here we'll get some initial insights. Even when you're out of time, there's always time for Heinz baked beans. We're going to give you some brand, we're going to give you product, culture, audience, and human insights to kind of get us started. But we want to push this thinking. This might be a little obvious, might be a little trite, so let's dial it up. We want to color outside the lines. The best creative thinking comes from way out in the ether, and then you bring it back down into reality. So we got some microdosing, we have LSD, and we've got asylum mode. So let's throw it on some LSD. It's not nighttime yet. We won't go into asylum. And what we're going to see here is we're going to start to see, kind of push this thinking a little further out. We'll start to get some more creative thinking in here. And the point of this is to just start to identify those ways in. Start to identify some different angles, different thoughts, different ways to kind of cut in here and tackle this challenge of targeting Heinz baked beans to Americans. It's being a little slow, so I do apologize. But what we can also do is we could throw in a problem statement here. So Americans, think they are gross. Maybe we'll just throw that in there, have some fun. Maybe it's just me. We'll see if this is, I don't know why these aren't loading. Let's see. Here we go. Beans that make you feel fancy while eating straight from the can. The cheaper your meal, the richer your childhood memories taste. Here we're getting some gaming culture. Despite spending hours perfecting virtual meals and cooking games, gamers still can't be bothered to actually cook real food. Everyone talks about meal prep and optimization, yet we still grab whatever's fastest when we're actually hungry. So this is where we can start to unlock that, unlock that initial thinking, unlock some ways in on an idea. And then what I can do is I'm just going to move really fast, and we're going to jump in to validate some of these insights here, because we know that everything in the marketing strategy needs to be backed up with evidence. If I can drag this over. So we're going to just see if we can find some data points to validate this statement here. So we have a research component of Springboards where we can come in and we can start saying, and so people often talk about meal prep, optimizing health eating. You'll see that we are pulling sources from the NIH, from some universities. We got some YouTube links in here that are going to help us validate this thinking. One of the great things about Springboards is we're not going to BS you. If we can't validate it, we will tell you we can't validate it. But what really the power of our tool is you can really start to see those initial insights and then feed them through all the way through the creative process. You could start to build out a creative brief. We could start to do manifestos, taglines. They won't be the same manifesto that we might see earlier. I know that was touched on, but really trying to see that variation. We've got campaign thinking, execution. If I want to come in here, find some influencers, I'm going to take this insight that I have here, and I want to find some influencers that I could potentially work with. I'm going to come in here, and it's going to spit out some potential influencers for me. But then I can go all the way down. I can build out personas. I can upload CSV files of audience data. I can come up with full campaign concepts as well. So if I can decide, I can kind of think about full omni-channel campaigns. And so we'll see here, these are some of my influencers. We always give you a really rich, a celebrity that's probably too expensive to use, but then we're going to give you a mid-tier and an up-and-coming influencer that you could potentially work with. Here we give you connections ideas. We're going to give you 3 different campaigns. How could it come to life? Different channels and all that. Where the tool gets really powerful, though, is collaboration. We believe that AI should not be used off on the side of your desk in single-player mode. You can come in here. We've got our canvas mode where you can be dumping in all your thinking. And I could invite my whole team in here. So I can invite my team in, and we could all be in here. So I had my team help me fill this out in advance of this with a bunch of different ideas. And what I can do, I've got all different things and all different ideas, color-coded, different team members have dumped in their ideas on how to sell Heinz baked beans to Americans. What I'm going to do is I can come into my chat, just like any other chat, and let's see if I can type this fast. What territories are on? Oh, I could type. territories are on my canvas. So I'm just going to ask the chat now. We can now we have ears and eyes on this canvas. It's got heaps of all different ideas, all different ways in. I think one of my favorite ideas that's on the canvas, I'll try to see if I can bring it over while it's all loading. We've got an idea here that is, let's see if I can zoom in. It's all about the revolution. We've got the toast the revolution. Brits say beans on toast belongs to them. They've crowned it a culinary conquest, smug in their historical stacks. America, do we bow to such sovereignty? No. And we've got a whole little keyframe script out here as well to take this script. But really, so you can kind of see this is one of my favorite ideas. But what we come to life is, if I can come here, I say, what are the territories? I've got all these different territories dumped on my canvas. I've got a UK focus around the ingredients and the sauces, historical adaptation. I've got a US focus. I've got difference between the beans, talking about the sugar and sodium levels. And I can even ask this to say, well, what am I missing? What's not on my canvas? So let's see. So as this is loading, just kind of this power of Springboard is all about being your sparring partner. It's trained to be a strategist for you to go back and forth with. It's trained to give you a tonnage of ideas to leave the decision with you guys, the humans, to be the ones in control. So that is really what it's all about. Here's giving me possible territories that I haven't touched on that I should think about as I'm working on this campaign for Heinz Baked Beans. But yeah, that springboards. It literally is a springboard for your thinking. And yeah, thank you guys all for your time. And yeah, if you have any questions, I'll be around all day. So thank you.